And we're live on the last Metal Lab of the year, 2017. Guess it's time for a list show, eh, guys? I am joined.
Everybody's doing them.
I'm wrapping up this year with our new neighborhood ginger, Miss PJ Bolin.
Hey.
Our new other old guy, a little bit older than myself, no longer Tom Kerr, Mike White.
Hello. But what's the we needed a mic, so hey.
Yeah, replacing our old Mike and Mike's, and old man and Tom, and Jay.
Good reliable Jay.
Good old reliable Jay. He's been there for the whole time. All right, a couple things get off the chest before we get into the fun stuff, the boring stuff. Patreon is back to normal, guys. Business as usual. Oh boy! So if you dunked out of Patreon because of the stupidity that they had, don't worry about it. They're not changing anything. So Patreon is business as usual. What you pledge is what you pay. Outside of that, yes, this is the last Metal Lab of the year 2017. We're going to take the next 2 weeks off because next week Monday is something called Christmas, and some of us celebrate it here. One of us doesn't.
Yeah, Costa Rica.
After that is New Year's Day, and you don't want to see the condition I'm generally in on New Year's Day.
Any of us.
My liver will be, I think their reference is pickled. So so we're just gonna take some time off. Once we get into the new year, we'll get started back after that. As well, this past week we released our first Casual Corner list show. Please take a little bit of time, keep an eye on it. We're going to try to release one of those per month. But my God, does the editing and script writing. This is the first thing that we've done on this channel that's actually scripted. And because we only have, the two warm bodies and only so much time in the world with all the other content we do, don't expect too many of those too often. So, but please give it a look. It was mine and Amber's top 10 sealed sets ever, not including Harley Quinn or Star Trek. That's when the script was written. And it was a lot of fun to do, and we'll do our own commentary or explanation show eventually to follow up a lot of these shows. Anyway, I'm done yapping. Let's talk about the year 2017. Heck of a year, eh, guys? Yeah,
it was good.
It was pretty neato.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was very, very strange as far as what came out this year as well. So we're going to be kind of recapping the year as it was. So 2017, just a quick recap, as it were. We saw the release of TMNT 3, The Shredder's Return, the Deadpool and the X-Force set, the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 movie set, Avengers Defenders War, the Wonder Woman mini set, What If, Elseworlds, The Mighty Thor, The Undead, Thor Ragnarok the movie, Harley Quinn, and Star Trek. It's a lot of releases in a single year. A lot of them smaller sets, though. I mean, we had 3 5-pack small set releases, and like 3 or 4 of the super mini sets, and then maybe 3 major release sets.
I'm still paying out. I am. I'm still paying out.
Mike's still got dollars coming out.
Yeah, it's still fun. Painful. And I skip sets.
Yeah. Actually, that comes into some of my today. That's for sure. So I guess without further ado, we're gonna start. We're gonna start with one of the 2 negative things we want to discuss, because I want to get the negativity out of the way as fast as possible. Because it was overall 2017 was a pretty good year as far as HeroClix and competitive play was concerned, with some little dips. And Jay's connection will figure itself out one day. So expect to see his head drop in and out from there. But we're going to start with our bottom 5 figures each from the year 2017. And I'm going to let Mike has been really eager. He got his homework done and everything. He was very proud of himself. Mike, I'm going to let you start with your bottom 5 of the year, and just kind of quick explanation as to why.
Yeah. I'll admit that it was actually difficult because I mean, it's such a broad thing. Like, I mean, there's lots of figures that they made that, you would never use competitively. So looking at the Meta Lab, I think there's lots of figures that wouldn't be fit into being good for a Meta Lab. But in terms of figures that I looked at and either I just kind of felt like the design was off or the intention never came through or why the hell would I ever play this? So my bottom 5, as it were, I'm going to look, I tried to also go across multiple sets and not hammer too much on one set. I got to say Thunderstrike. I think the only purpose to him is to get the object. He just looks like a lot of points for very boring, average things that you could get from a lot of other people. So just in terms of a figure that came out and the object is way better than the figure in terms of value and need, that's why I want to highlight him as being a downer, a no for me on the year. Necron the Bat God. I love the giving the Batman ally to everybody, but honestly, you're not playing him at full points because that's just way too much of an investment. And the 100 points to give everybody Batman ally, no, honestly, because you're giving your opponent 100 points. His values are weak as all hell. Yeah, he's just he looks like what would be so good to have on there, but he just doesn't follow through at either of his point values. So big miss for me on that. Plastique. I just another figure who it's like, 40 points, I believe, or 40 or 50 points. She's not horrible or anything like that, but it's like you're never really going to effectively pull off that special power. Like no one's really gonna let that happen to them. And I don't know, man, give her some range or something. Give her like a 4 range. Like I just feel like she's getting picked off before she gets in there to really pull anything off. And which also will come back around to who I think really is the worst figure. So second worst or whatever, Loki and Dormammu. I'm sorry, 225 points of what the hell? They're not even a duo, in spite of the fact that they look clearly like they should be a duo. But I feel like for those 225 points, I could accomplish everything they do with other figures that will let me do more things. Like if we're talking about generating bystanders, I'd rather spend 100 points on Devil Dinosaur now than be worrying about this whole mindless one thing. I just think they're a huge overcosted mess. 225, and again, this is all about competitive. Like I can't ever see them doing anything. Prove me wrong, man. Like somebody winning something big with Loki Dormammu. I don't even know. I'd say eat my hat, but I'm not wearing one. And you know what a hat is actually? It's like haggis. That's actually what it is, and I ain't eating that. So my last, but definitely least, attending. I mean, Jason, when we talked about it briefly earlier, I mean, it's just, you just keep coming back to him. Talk about you're never going to pull that off. You're never going to pull it off. You're never pulling it off competitively. A 9 attack, 17 defense that's naked. Good luck. If you could successfully hit somebody and activate his power and do something with it, wow, you, sir, are HeroClix genius, because this figure is getting killed every time. Every time. So anyway, that would be my bottom 5.
All right, cool. Jay.
Okay, I'm actually going to open up screen share because I set it all up nicely.
Oh, aren't you nice?
Okay,
so
my list is actually more figures that are so bad that I wouldn't even play them casually. So we start off with this Wolverine, who, when he was first previewed, I saw, for some reason, I thought he was 50 points, and I was like, oh, okay, he's not good. He's kind of decent. He's whatever. But then I saw his 100 points, and I was like, that's probably one of the most overcosted things they've ever seen them make. And his powers and abilities can't be countered. Okay, good luck getting anywhere to do anything, and have fun with that toughness and really crappy values, even once you are in close combat reflexes. And you can heal if he doesn't die after turn 1. So that's just awful. And then the fact that ATA is retired, making him lose access to X-Force for Uncanny, just no. Never, ever playing this figure. There was 2 cheetahs in the Wonder Woman set, and this one is somehow she actually kind of looks better, but I still think she's worse because the other one at least has mystical, and that has some of the best support pieces and just pieces in general. And I'm very annoyed that this is the second time this character.
All right, well, that's all we're gonna get from Jay on that. Apparently, Cheetah is more mystical than we gave her credit for.
That's it. She just came in there and she said, she slashed his feet. No, you're not talking about Cheetah.
And I think I wonder if Jay is still talking to his camera.
Definitely. He's going to cut back in.
Everybody. Canadian internet.
The net neutrality, man.
Apparently, I'm not paying Comcast enough to let Jay stay. All right. PG, you want to start your list?
Yeah, sure. I went all higher rarity slots for mine because I believe if they're higher rarity, they shouldn't completely suck. So first, Tidal Loki. I feel like he's just so bad. Like, everything you want to do with him, you want to be up close. And he's not durable enough to constitute dedicating the points to the title slot and then eating the penalty when he dies. So I can't ever see myself wanting to play Tidal Loki. And the thing that makes him worse to me is his sculpt is positively beautiful, and it is just such a bad piece. Next, the super rare Harley Prime from the Harley Quinn set. I hate pieces with power interactions that don't work. I've made that very clear. And Hypersonic with TK, and then Barrier Energy Shield Invuln just doesn't really do it for me. And then she clicks on the Hypersonic Pulse Wave because that makes sense too. Like, I mean, yeah, she has charged Quake Giant Reach later, and I don't know. It's a super rare prime, and she's just not good, and that kills me. Oh, and Green Lantern Corps team ability with Hypersonic. That's good too, right? So next. So we have the Shredders, and they're all really good, except for Shiva, who is just garbage because, 10 attack, 2 damage. Yeah, you get to make 4 attacks, but if they have invuln, what are you going to do? There's not really a whole lot else to say about that piece. I just think it's straight terrible compared to all the other Shredders. Next, Golden Age Deadpool, who is also just miserable. Like, I don't understand why. Like, I was actually excited for the fact that Golden Age Deadpool existed. I love the Deadpool universe stuff. I love that chase theme set. And, man, just Golden Age Deadpool just really let me down. It comes with a good panel, but I feel like it's kind of like what Mike said about Thunderstrike, where you just get Golden Age Deadpool for the panel. And then last but not least, Chase Hawkeye. I think he's the worst, not because he's unplayable, but because he actually makes other teams unplayable.
Yep.
And I think for the meta, he is the worst piece. So obviously he himself is powerful, but there is nothing worse for the meta right now than Chase Hawkeye.
All right. Good list there, PJ, and thanks for keeping it on the higher rarity. I think getting too much hate in the lower rarities kind of exposes the fact that commons are sealed properties only, apparently. Conversation I have to have with somebody else at some point. Jay, Cheetah, not mystical.
I'm going to nod screen share to make sure I don't drop again. Yeah, so that Cheetah, terrible, no thanks, just wrong keywords because they had to do it again after the slosh one also had incorrect keywords and just no thanks in any context. Harleen Quinzel is very problematic because there was already too many Harleys in that set, even though it was the set named after her. The fact that she was in the set led to the resculpt of the even crappier Arkham Doctor. It's kind of a cute idea in theory, but just no. I'm never playing it. I'm never giving any character named the Joker an action to give her an action. She's just no. I put on the 016 Punisher from the What If set because there was one Punisher that was what if he killed Daredevil and then what if he killed Spider-Man, and this is one of them, and he's garbage and doesn't even have the 12 attack that the other one in the same set has for the Punisher van, and that's already crappy enough. So, and one of the main problems this year was too many remakes of stuff in general, so just one more Punisher when we already got like 10 this year was just no thanks. And then my last one was the common Thor from the Mighty Thor, because I don't like the 50-point trend already, but I must admit that they tend to be good. I mean, they even made a good 50-point Hulk in the same set, but still, this guy is just not good in any context and makes me doubly angry because he's the only bad piece in the set, as far as I can tell, and my thoughts, unless I'm forgetting something really egregious. So, yeah, did not need another Thor who was never going to be used, not even in sealed, not even in my most casual games.
Cool. Somehow I just completely zoomed in on my face for that whole time. I don't know why I did that. All right. So my bottom five, and the number 5 has got nothing to do with the quality of the figure. It's got everything to do with the stupid pull rate I'm getting on it. And it's the Tribble. I have opened 2 bricks plus 4 packs over here for the seal between myself and Amber, plus an additional 4 packs. Do you know how many Tribbles I've pulled? 3. I had to get them from a generous friend of mine willing to offer up some Tribbles to me. My gosh. I want to have the trouble with Tribbles, but for me, the trouble with Tribbles is not getting them. This is unacceptable. It's a comment. So it hits the bottom of my list, not because it's bad, but because I can't get them. And I don't want to pay $6 for a common. Oh my gosh, they hit the high rate. All right. I do share something with Mike on my list, and that is attending. Because I hate disappointing things in sealed. And I'm not like a lot of people go to Avengers Defenders War and point out the 2 15-point rares in that. I can use Jessica Jones to stop your stealth, and I can stop your outwit with Boggy
Nelson.
Boggy Nelson. I can't do anything with attending, and he's 20 points. I'd rather have 2 Joker thugs because he's not even mastermind fodder.
Foggy Nelson worked out for me in every sealed event I was in.
Yeah.
Every sealed event I was in, he helped me. This
is 20 points. I'd never even consider putting on a team. Next up, this one was just a disappointment because it took up a super rare slot. And I feel like it was only super rare because, and this is from What If, and What If super rare slot was the only place I really had anything differing as far as figures concerned, and it was the Advocate. Right? Like, nobody got this. Was like, yes, the Advocate. Except for, when I did my unboxing initially, it's like, cool, super rare. Ooh, the Advocate. Oh, it's like a Ninja Daredevil. Okay. And then that was all the excitement for that figure. That was it. Because I put that thing on a map once, and it got taken off the map very quickly. It did not do very well. And number 2, and this annoys me because it was a con exclusive, and it is the Spider-Gwen. Seriously? Like, this was a con exclusive. I would have been less angry if this was like a super rare or a prime in a main set, and I'd have been fine with that. Heck, if it was like the prime to a Silver Samurai in another set, that would have been cool. But the fact that this was on the con exclusive is one of those things that's supposed to be really sought after, supposed to be really like wanted and everything like that. It didn't fit the bill for me in that manner. So she hits number 2, and number 1. And this is going to be my gripe until they get it right, and it's a tie, with every Donatello they made this year and years previously. Stop hating my boy Donatello. Stop it. He's good. He's got a big stick and he's smart. Giving him maybe sometimes outwit, maybe sometimes perplex. Go with a goal and stick with it. Come on now. There we go. All right. So then I got that off of my chest. That's really my come on, give me a Donatello rant. It's really why I did this top 5 list. But next we're going to talk about our 5 favorite characters of the year. And I'm going to start this one. Why not? Because usually I don't start and I let you guys start. And I need to some happy place. My number 5 is the Shredder clone. The Shredder clone for a number of reasons. One, it gave me an excuse to get the Shark Shredder. And 2, I don't like rolling dice, so I'll do my damage for free. Thank you. He kind of gets lumped in with the other Shredders, to be brutally honest. They're all really, really neato. But the Shredder clone got the most love out of me. For one, it's cheaper than all of them by 5 points. His stats are really, really solid, and just a generally neato character. Number 4, and this guy was part of one of my favorite teams I built and played all year this year, was Al Jordan. Because I played the figure a lot. He's a super flexible figure. I don't like where a lot of pick a power characters get two powers or more powers, or 1 power and his protected pulse wave. I like the ability to choose the sizes, choose the combat abilities, all that kind of stuff. So he was really, really super flexible. That and apparently Canadians really love the figures. So, but if I remember correctly, Mr. PJ Boland must have got a taste of Canada because he ran a couple of them in a tournament recently. My next 2 were pivotal in my 2 WKO wins and sealed, and they get that extra nudge. The first one, number 3, is the title Harley, because in a number of games I got to that ability number 6, and oh my gosh, did it like to roll high for me.
Yeah, you did it to me. You rolled a 6 against me, and it went from what was looking like a runaway game to what the hell's happening?
Is he about to take this back? I also played her in a constructed game with a Gertrude and Old York. If you spawn a bunch of those next to that dinosaur, they're all doing 3 damage flurry. Just saying. So in a nutshell, the title Harley, and the fact that in order to get towards that, you gotta, oh no, she's got to use +2 perplexes to get up there. Darn. So pretty cool character. Number 2 was Giganta for the same reason, but she was just so violent the way she did it. The fact that she could, attack, and then in a lot of cases attack again, or and then the next turn attack 2 more times. She was just so potent in what she did. So those 2 get that little extra bit because they helped me win WKOs. I'm not gonna lie. And my number one pick is a figure I feel like it may be overlooked still, and it's the Ameridroid. I've been using the Ameridroid from inception. Every team I've played since it came out has had an Ameridroid on it because I don't want to let you stay out of position on me. I'm getting them. I'm getting you, and I'm bringing you to me, or I'm putting you in the pit in the Asgardian or in the Bifrost. One thing or another, that Ameridroid is putting you where I want him, and I'm going to get you. And that's why the Ameridroid is my number 1 pick for my favorite figure of the year. It was a great part of the What If set. All right. Next, we're going to let PJ.
All right. So we are going to start with. Oh, wait, hold on. Something. Oh, my list went away. Okay. I remember it anyway. It's fine.
Okay.
That's weird. Okay, anyway. So first, I am going to start with King Shark. Primarily because the sculpt is just absolutely beautiful. And secondly, because he's good. I like the fact that he got a piece, and I like the fact that it didn't suck. Next is the Yellow Lantern Prime Harley. I think she should have been the super rare Prime because she doesn't suck.
Yeah.
I like just her manipulation ability. I really look forward to playing her whenever I get the opportunity. I'm definitely going to be playing her in Limited. Next is the 004 Green Lantern from Elseworlds. I think he's the coolest taxi that HeroClix has probably ever seen. Doing stuff after being carried is just really good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's possibly my favorite, but I actually have him at third. I'm drawing a blank on my second. Oh, well, we're going to skip to first because I'll have to remember what my other one was. And first is Pedro was absolutely correct on the one that I was going to be including because Flora Colossus is definitely my favorite. I think it's one of the most underrated pieces that we've got in a long time. And we've probably never seen a better 10 points. Just the fact that you can heal off of your stop click, and then they have to pump 2 attacks. And at that point, if they're trying to attack your Flora twice, they're wrong. Because if they're pumping 2 attacks into something that's worth 10 points, you're probably already doing something well in progressing the game state. Clicking on the sidestep, Quake, moderately okay values when you consider it's a 10-point piece. So it doesn't have to be great, but definitely pulls its weight. And I remember my other one now, Peace Machine, I think is one of the best pieces that we've got this year. Just because of the control that it brings to the table. I love Suppression Field. And then not only is Suppression Field awesome, like it's a really good piece for 50 points. Sidestep TK, 19 defense, outwit, and flight, and Indom. Like for 50 points, that's amazing. And then it has traded Force Blast in the Suppression Field. Like what else do you need for 50 points? Like you can just get greedy, or you can just take this as the best support piece we've seen in a long time.
Cool. All right. I like your list, and Pedro likes your list more than mine, apparently. All right, Mike, what do you got?
Okay. So I kind of I danced the line in and out of favorite and what I thought was the best. And so it's kind of a hodgepodge of those. And there's not quite a fifth to first, but I'll kind of work that direction. I think I had to give a spot to Unimind. I don't think he's the best piece or my favorite piece or any of that kind of stuff. But come on, look at how he's dominated the field. We all saw that he would right away out of the gate. He crushes in Limited. He's still amazingly effective in just Modern. So if we're talking about competitive pieces that you can really effectively play, and honestly, he's not hard to play. So if you're somebody who maybe is trying to work your way up in the competitive scene and you want to start to really get the feel of things, I don't find him to be a difficult character to play. The really good players find the nuances in him and can elevate him. But just look right out of the gate with those perplexes, man. It's a numbers game. It's a dice rolling game. Those +2s are huge. So I had to give him a spot. In spite of me thinking he's broken and needs to be fixed, if we're talking about a figure right now that's good and will dominate, obviously he does. So then I have King Shark, just like PJ. Beautiful sculpt. Happy to have this figure made. Amazingly effective figure. I just actually played a Suicide Squad team with him yesterday, and I used the Hydra Island map with him. And I found multiple positions where he can actually sit in hindering and be stealthed, and then sidestep into water, and then move full movement to pretty much anywhere on the map, and then flurry attack. Also, with tribbles now coming out, animal keyword, it is super easy to activate his secret 6 trait and get the +1s to everything. So, wow, what an amazing piece. And yeah, he's so beautiful to look at. And I love to say, I'm a shark, I'm a shark, I'm a fucking shark. Pardon my French.
Sorry, I just clicked the demonetize
button. Then I had to put on a Maridroid. Exactly like Jay said. It's funny that we didn't talk about it, but you got to look at the positioning of this guy. I mean, we see Colossal Retaliators all over the place. This is a super low point figure that just jumps across the map, doesn't care if he hits you. He doesn't even want to hit you, man. Rolling dice is like arbitrary for him. You're really only hoping he doesn't crit miss and kill himself, because you just send him out to move somebody forward to murder that person. He's the kill box master. I faced off against a team that had, 5 of them on it, and it was just gross to keep having your figures thrown into the path of Lex Joker duo with their duo attack madness. So had to put a Maridroid on there. I think he's a great point filler, competitive team. Somebody who maybe might have gotten forgotten because he's way back, and I think the best shifting focus figure that was put out, Deadpool. 75-point figure, tons of, for a person like myself, keyword options. There's multiple versions you can start the game with who have multiple different keywords across the Marvel spectrum. And each Deadpool is really giving something nice to the team. You've got perplexes, prob potentials. You've got a guy who could just move for free and be making attacks. I think he's a fantastic shifting focus piece. And honestly, I think he's the best shifting focus piece overall so far. Point versus versatility ratio. And then my top pick, well, I'm Canadian, so I picked Al Jordan. How could I not pick Al Jordan? Okay, Al Jordan is a beautiful piece. He's 90 points. He fits on a team well. His keywords are amazing, mystical. Come on. And as I proved on my 2-man provincial ROC winning team of Yakeem and Al Jordan, he can be amazing. He was my linchpin. He was the one who was left on the map in that final game and won me the game with his whole size and power picking. It was amazing. I love that figure. There's so many options to him. And I don't know why, I honestly don't know why it is that it's a Canadian thing for us to love him, but he is a fantastic piece. And I've enjoyed playing him every time I played him this year. He's been so much fun. So Al Jordan, baby.
All right. Awesome. Now, always remember, guys, these are our favorites, and honestly, your favorites, by all means, share in the chat. If you're watching in the archive, share below in the comments. Jay, your turn, sir.
Hopefully my internet will stay through the whole thing. Number 5 is Lex Luthor, God of Apocalypse, because he just does so many good, amazing things. There's just two small caveats with him, is that I don't think he's competitive right now. He's more a future pick, but then the other problem is his partner in crime in the future just got watchlisted. So if they change how Joker works, that will severely impact Lex's potential, at least as far as we know, unless he makes something else ridiculous. But I hope he has a good future ahead of him, and we'll see what happens with Joker. Number 4 was Beta Ray Bill, because how could you not, with just the sheer impact of what he can do, although not anymore, considering how ID cards were ruled with him and how ID cards got changed in general. And there's still some potential here, but unfortunately not necessarily as much as there could have been in a perfect world. Number 3 what's number 3? Number 3 was Red Tornado, because that double power action, reposition your whole team and heal them if they're JSA, and 18 defend if they don't happen to have JSA, and past keyword are also good. And now that Unimind is on the watch list, maybe he'll get nerfed to the point where Jakeem is really viable again, and then that bumps up JSA as a competitive theme teams, that further ups her usefulness. And then following it up with number 2, we have Sand, because I've wanted him forever, and we have him. And although he's not a high point figure, what he does for his 35 points, like the Green Lantern, is so good for those points. He's got really good offenses for his points. He has a really good simpler time that work particularly well with Jakeem, because you can choose Shape Change, Invincible, Impervious, and then get senses off of him. And just the sheer disruption that he can provide, kind of like Frogman, is just so ridiculous. And then number 1 is the Prime Scourge, because another character I've wanted, and a specific iteration thereof, for quite some time, and he has not seen play yet, because I don't think the game really works for him, unfortunately, because Nighthawk is a major thing, and like half of what he does is based on modifiers, so that kind of hurts his usefulness. But the fact that there's not as much Pulse Wave going on these days is also good for him, because I would just ignore everything that he does. But that sort of staying power and being just enough points to call in important stuff, I really like, as well as the fact that he's like good number. Assuming he can use his modifiers, he just has really good numbers all the way down. So just overall, it's probably colored a little bit by my personal affinity for the specific story, character, whatnot, but that is my number 1.
Can I just quickly throw in? I have to give a shout out. I meant to give a shout out to Moon Knight, who for me was a great figure this year. So happy with that iteration of him. The one, the super rare from Avengers Defenders War, in the awesome suit, and he was a Yakeem killer. I love that figure. Other people may not find him so meta. His points are a little. I mean, he's 110 points, but I had to give a shout out because he played so well for me, and I think you should try him if you get a chance. Detective keyword too. Goes with Deadpool. Yep. And Ace the Bat Hound. What? Anyway.
Do that. Half the team already built for you guys. You guys did the rest of the work. Actually, more than half the team.
Yeah, no, that's a team. I made that team at one point.
Fair enough. All right. I want to get the last negative thing up, because it's going to be positivity from here. Actually, no, there's one other semi-negative. Yeah, it's not negative. It's just a least favorite. But so in the year of sets, what has been our least favorite set, and just why are you not such a fan? So I'll go ahead and let Jay start this one if his internet will let us stay. Your mic's muted there, buddy. We're at our finest here. Your money's worth, patrons.
Jay, I have 10 billion tabs open, so I couldn't find my mute. It's interesting how this set kind of parallels a set that seems to me the more popular one, being, I guess you could say, based on mythology, and the least favorite is the Wonder Woman set, because, I mean, the whole set didn't even come out still, as far as I know, to all the retailers, and that Wonder Woman would be such a good call-in, but by the time the set comes out, if it does come out, that ID card is going to be gone. The fact that this is like really the first time that we had a female-led set, as far as I can remember, before Harley Quinn, and then she shared like over half of it with the kind of really crappy Teen Titans that none of them were good except for that one Raven. But now Nightshade does the same thing as that Raven did for the Kenny team, but better. And just overall, just not really anything good going on there. So just no thanks.
All right.
For me, mine was also the Wonder Woman set. It's hard to like a set that you just can't have. Like, I've literally never even seen a booster of this. So, it's kind of like I liked pretty much I liked every other set this year. So this is the only one I didn't like, so it has to come in at least favorite. Just kind of trial and error there.
Okay. Mike.
Well, thankfully, I was never going to buy any Wonder Woman, so it escapes being my worst set because of that. For me, it's actually What If. it was the set I've been waiting for almost the entirety of my almost 15 years of playing HeroClix now. I am a huge What If fan in terms of the books. They were the books that turned my head when I was a kid, because it would be like all bets are off. You could kill everybody in What If books, and for me that was great. And of course, Jay and I both love Exiles, and we kind of felt like there might be a subset in What If that would be Exiles. So I'm so excited for it. And then all I got was a giant pile of reused sculpts, like Punishers and reused sculpts of people I so don't even care about, man. Like, how many Daredevils and Punishers over the years, and like, it was just like, I just don't even understand the set. Even the Fast Forces, I look at the Fast Forces, I'm like, why are these the figures that are in this? What happened? What decision was made somewhere? It's Thor, Punisher, Daredevil, Spider-Man, and Iron Man, right? That's basically who we just got over and over and over again. So like, my heart was broken by that set. There's a couple of figures in there that are cool. We had Goblin King who got neutered, whatever. So yeah, that set really was that it broke my heart. I mean, my expectation was really high, but I feel like so that'd be it. What if it was a better set? I'd like to know. I'll buy that issue.
For me, it's I haven't done this since I got back into HeroClix. I'd say actually I haven't done this since the Flash set, and there's actually a set I bought 0 of, and it was Thor Ragnarok. How did such a great movie become such a disinteresting set? I don't know, man. I look at the set and I want maybe one figure. I don't want to own much of it. And I'm a Hulk fan, so there's Hulks in there, and I'm not motivated to get anything from that set. So the lack of motivation on wanting to get anything is really, it puts it as my least favorite, because I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Every time I think I have the money to go grab the Thor, we were selling boosters for $1 a pack of the Thor Ragnarok set, and I couldn't be bothered to buy them this past weekend. I couldn't be bothered to spend $24 to get an entire set of Thor Ragnarok. That's really how disinterested I was. I mean, would I have and part of it, we didn't get the unboxing product for that. We didn't even ask for it, right? So I'm not bothered by it at all. Let's not kid ourselves. I don't miss it at all. It was a great movie, though. It was a fantastic movie. So, all right. So let's move to the positivity of this. What is your favorite set this year, Mr. PJ Bolin?
My favorite set was Undead.
Yeah,
I like stuff that's out of the norm. So I like seeing, basically unlicensed stuff. And it has my honorable mention for favorite pieces with Ghost of Abraham Lincoln. I just think the whole set's really cool. I like what they did. I like a lot of the sculpts. They obviously couldn't sculpt reuse for this, other than Abe, but he is clear on one of them. So I don't know. Yeah, that's just it's hands down my favorite. It's obviously not the best or most competitive, but it's definitely my favorite.
Don't discount the Belphegors till I tell you. All right, Mike, what about you?
This is a tough one for me, man. I've been trying to narrow it down between 3 sets, and I'm really struggling with that because they kind of each had a different thing for me. I love the Harley set for sealed. I think it's one of the best sealed sets I've seen in this game in a long time, and it shows a great direction towards balance in that respect. So that was a wonderful way to end the year. I loved Avengers Defenders War because I really loved the characters that were in there. The Marvel Knights I thought were fun and a great mechanic. And again, that Moon Knight that came out of that set that I had so much fun with. But ultimately, I had to give it to Elseworlds. I don't know. It just everything that I ended up disliking about What If Elseworld seemed to come through with. The figures were more interesting. There was still the sculpt reuse, but it didn't feel as heavy-handed as what was going on in the Marvel set. Maybe I'm wrong, but there was some kind of difference in correlation or something. And of course, because it brought me Al Jordan, my new love, my sweet man with the lantern. So yeah, I really enjoyed the set. I keep kind of coming back to it and checking it out, and so that had to be my pick. It was tough though. I mean, those 3 sets, I love them all for different reasons. And I think, again, Harley set, thank you, WizKids. I think you're really in a great direction towards a solid sealed competitive set, and I love sealed competitive.
All right, Jay.
Unquestionably, has to be Thor. I'm looking at the set now. It's the first set I've been motivated to get almost all the chases since Spider-Man. I guess as far as full main sets go.
That's the first set you went chase hunting for.
Yeah, it was painful. I'm still missing a bunch of stuff, but there's just even the meh dials to me are still like they're re-clixings. Like Lorla was unmade and like she's whatever. She's not, like outside of that one Thor, there's nothing. I could see myself playing pretty much any of these dials. These characters, and the material's good, and they kept very on point with the theme, and I definitely feel like looking at these dials, they did pay a lot of attention to the characters. I feel like they really tried here. And this is just a really good year overall. And I would say outside of the Wonder Woman set, no set was just really bad as far as if we're talking pure dials. So, yeah, it's definitely a standout in a very, very good year.
Cool. Awesome. Mine, again, personal, and I'm really moving towards a sealed mentality. Like a good set is helped to be defined by sealed, and Mike really nailed this one on the head for me. I'm a big fan of the Harley Quinn set. Okay, I'm a little skewed. Yes, I won 2 WKOs with it. Let's get past that. All right, I'm over it.
Yeah, I got one from it too, so I'm a little biased on that one.
A little biased on it. I'm not gonna lie. But that said, I've actually initial thoughts on the set were it seemed a little low powered, seemed a little not going to compete. Then I started trying some things, and it really started to click for me. I'm really starting to look at that title Harley in a new way. I'm starting to look at a number of different figures in new light, and I'm really starting to appreciate the set a little bit more. I'm also starting to appreciate the fact that PJ is very correct about the Sinestro Corps Harley Quinn, and I need to get my hands on one. So I've run some of the numbers on it. I need to give it a try myself in the limited format as well. But I think she will be a factor in that format without a shadow of a doubt. And, the chases were strong, but they weren't auto wins, if you catch my meaning. I mean, they were close to. They weren't hard to play with, but they just I won with a chase, but I've also seen chases pulled that didn't win and lost to really weird things and really weird plays and stuff like that. So in general, I think the set really shined as a set this year for me, and as a set for sealed in general. So overall, great set. That's my favorite set of the year. Now I want to move next to, and we're a little out of order, so I apologize to my guys who are reading the doc we set up for them. And that is, we're going to move to the big news this year. The big change this year came with the Mighty Thor. It was a change to the rules. We have a brand new game of HeroClix now that we're playing, and we're trying to kind of work our way around.
I'm still faking it till I make it, man.
Yeah. And with that said, enough rules have changed, and we've had enough time to really stew over them, play with them, work with them, and so on and so forth. It's time to pick our favorite and least favorite rules changes of the year. And starting on the low end, we're going to start with our negative and our least favorite rules changes. For me, I don't like the change to Energy Explosion. Energy Explosion was a cool power in its last form, and I thought it was really well fleshed out in the way that it was presented. Because the idea is a big impact on the initial guy, and then everybody takes a little bit of extra. Now it's everybody takes a thing. I understand the reason for simplicity. I understand the design change, but it was not my favorite by far. And that's the thing, is this is not a super negative thought on the matter. I do understand, and I'm not completely negative on it. The rules changes overall are probably are almost 100% in agreement with me. And it's just like, this one is the one that kind of doesn't sit well with me for the most part, because it really depowered a really strong power, in my opinion. But I think there's other ones that might be a little worse, and other guys here might have an idea on. PJ, what are your thoughts on the matter?
The one I like the least is the one that made Barrier infinitely better, and that would be the change to improve targeting destroys blocking, where you're only hitting exactly one piece now. So I love Barrier, obviously, and I just think that tilted it over the top a little bit on power creep. I don't know. It made so many pieces so much worse, and it was already something that not that many people had. So now it's rare and worse.
Poor Cosmic Spidey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nerf that.
All right, Mike.
I'm glad you actually mentioned both of those, because they were ones that I had considered, and it was tough not to pick. But I decided to actually go with Hypersonic. I feel like it got beat up on a little bit too much. I mean, you can't carry, you can't use an object, you move, you stop, you attack, it just. I agree that they needed to do something with it and maybe tone it down a little and not make it such a run around the map smacking and killing things. Like, if you got rid of super strength, fine, but it just feels like it really got beat up on, and it's also tougher to play this way because you took so many things away from it. It's like all the things I feel like I'm cheating with Hypersonic now. I mean, God, at the sealed release, I kept Hypersonic carrying with the Harley Super Rare Prime, and I'm like carrying 8 people too, because I've got Green Lantern Corps, and no one's stopping me, because we're all like, sure, you could do that with Hypersonic. So yeah, I feel like Hypersonic got a bit of a bum deal there.
Cool. All right, Jay.
I would say ID cards, because if we're talking just mathematically, so in the past you had to have no tokens, so that's half of your turns essentially, but now you can do it anytime, so you already doubled how often you could use them, and they were already format defining, and then on top of all that, they changed to you could use them anytime during your turn. So instead of actually having to plan your turn properly and do all that stuff, now you can do really weird stuff, like set up, like, everybody's Jean Grey now essentially, and now, even though Mercury's going to retire in the coming rotation, we have the new Lieutenant Kyle from Star Trek, who does the same thing but kind of better. So as long as we have ID cards, it's going to be so much easier to pull them off. It's just so much. It's just, they were already so good. I don't think they needed. I don't even want to call it a buff. It's like an intentional, like, tripling in efficiency and how good they are. It's ridiculous.
Yep, fair enough. Yeah, ID cards were on my list, but I used them too much, and I couldn't just turn around and say, I've used this so much and it's bad. But it is a brutal increase into the potency of them.
Oh yeah,
and yeah.
It's gross. It's super gross. I hated them before. And now it's gross. And now I'm even more compelled to use them. Like, I feel like a dirty, dirty human.
All right, let's move to the positivity then. What's your favorite rules change? And my favorite rule change is a change to a power I've wanted to use so frequently, so often. And I'm so glad this change happened. And it was a change to Quake.
Ooh.
Oh my God, is it so good now? If you can, because there's at least there's 2 that I can think of, but there's like a number of characters that can full move then Quake or leap climb then Quake. And they also have damage higher than the original 2 that Quake was able to do. So if you can line up a single target Quake with, let's say, I don't know, a 50.12 attack, leap and climb then Quake, 4 damage Hulk.
Gross.
Holy smokes. That, I mean, and the first starter set with it, like with the new Quake rules, came with that Hulk. So they knew right next to the same product. There it is. You guys couldn't have missed it as intended. Love it. And it's a power increase, but it's a power increase that Quake, I think, needed, because Quake has always kind of been the close combat pulse wave to me. And it needs something on pulse wave's level, if you ask me. I don't know. PJ, what are your thoughts?
This one was super easy for me. Leadership is the one that got the biggest buff and best change. The fact that it's now just a static +1 action. I don't care that it's limited at 1 or a unique modifier, however they word it. It's so much better. And now that point value is semi-irrelevant for it. Yes, you can still use it for that, but the fact that you can use it with sharing a keyword, it just makes it so much more usable. I'm packing it on almost every team I play. So,
all right, Mike.
Oh, there I am. I'm unmuted. I want to crunch pretzels. My favorite rule change, and definitely that's a good one. Leadership's great. Commissioner Gordon, by the way, 25 points, and he's pulling tokens off of some awesome guys. Mine's actually regen. I've been waiting a long time for something to happen with regen. It's been a long time coming. It's a power that just had way too much of a downside to it. I'm sorry, Wolverine should never push to go to heal himself and die. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Potential for that kind of thing is sort of there with the stop click thing. But it's so much better. Like, come on. If I rolled a regen, I should be healing something, people. Come on. So
I don't get how to grow my arm back.
Yeah. Okay. Like, what the hell? How do I fail healing myself? I heal, like, it's not like with support where it's like I might be, using a scalpel or something and I hurt you. It's like I'm healing. That's what I do. That's the only thing I do. So anyway, very happy that they fixed regen.
I always thought of a critical miss with support as cutting the artery you're trying to fix.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I imagine. You're sewing them up, everything's good. And oh god.
All right, Jay. What's your favorite rule change?
Oh yeah, that leadership one was probably the number one, and it reminded me of the only good figure really from the Thor set, the Ragnarok set, which was that 25-point Odin, because just 25-point leadership on Ruler, which has amazing characters. But otherwise, I was going to say Mastermind, but I feel like it's too powerful potentially now. So I'm going to say the Underworld team ability, because it was a little too complicated before, but it's just fantastic now. And just, it definitely helped me personally, because it led to a switch in my teams that made it better, because I was running the Superior Foes thugs with my Jokers before, but now I have the Joker thugs who can carry, in addition to having the ridiculously awesome Mastermind but not Mastermind power for the Joker in case they actually get rid of it. And it's just, the fact that it makes Lex Luthor and Joker already so much better than they already were. Because I remember we were talking about what figures are going to be good after the rules changes, and everybody but me mentioned them, but then they just threw on one more change that had to make them even better than we already thought, because that piece had to become astronomically good. So yeah, simplifying Underworld was definitely a good idea, and actually made it usable, especially with the carry rules now, because you're only -1 on a lot of these characters are low speed. So just overall great simplifying change to help a team keyword that kind of needed it.
All right, awesome. Now we're going to move to the last in-game thing, and then everything else is a little external of the game. Yeah, I got that right. Yeah, I did. Okay. What is this year, coming from this year, what is your favorite map? PJ, what's your favorite map this year?
Rock Dungeon. Rock Underground map. I love it. I don't know. It's so restrictive and it's so toxic. It's just
so toxic.
It's so bad that it's great.
I'm so glad it's only available in rock tournaments and places that allow you to use rock maps. Oh,
oh yeah. Just for what it's worth, my favorite WizKids map was Speakeasy. I mean, it's banned, but I love the map. Love it.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, I had fun with that map. Speakeasy was a fun map. That's a really tough question. Another one I was struggling with, but I got to go with Wakanda. You know, I've had a lot of fun on that. I go back to my buddy Moon Knight. He doesn't care about that hindering terrain. He runs through it. He shoots through it. Yeah, I just like that map. It was a lot of fun. Great place to hide. And even if you're not hiding, it's like that gross +2 to defense. So, yeah, Wakanda.
All right. Jay?
My number one is a rock map, but I'm going to add a WizKids one too. I'm going to say the remote outpost at the Mexican border one because
such a lengthy name.
I know, because based on Logan, I like the map. It has just a little bit of everything. There's some elevated patches, but it's whatever. It's not hard to traverse. It makes me happy that I have it because I did well enough somehow at a tournament to actually get it, which actually ties into another one of my list entries, but that'll come later. As far as WizKids ones go, it's difficult because there's a lot of good ones and there's a lot of annoying ones, but I guess I will say Bifrost because just wow, what an effect. Just what a game-changing potentially effect and all the interactions of nonsense you can do with that. And the fact that it's a pretty rainbow map and it's related to Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, when did the WizKids Office come out? Was that last year? It was last year. Okay, I thought so. That's why I didn't include it. Because that
just after Worlds last year.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought it was because that map was good to me. Oof.
And, you know, on the level of the WizKids Office and at the level of Poison of the map there PJ was talking about, the dungeon map, WizKids was nice enough to provide us with a nice, evil little indoor map that is very restrictive as well. Let's talk about the underground cavern from Star Trek, ladies and gentlemen. Holy smokes, is there a lot of wall going on in that map. Plus, there's a lot of hindering terrain if you happen to have some stealth. There's like the few open spaces there is riddled with hindering terrain. And other than that, you can really make effective use of the walls that are in there. A lot of blocking terrain. And I can see now why they limited Ignores blocking to just the one square, because I think this map was made when they made that rule change. Oh man. So yeah, the underground cavern for me, and it's only because I was just experienced it this past week, and I also happened to win with my Star Trek Steel team with the Mirror Universe Spock and a bunch of stuff. That guy is so busted. Another character I don't have to roll dice to hit with and just automatically deal damage. Perfectly fine by me. Anyway. All right, so that's all of our in-game content lists covered. You know, we've talked about the stuff that we like that was happening in the game. Let's talk about the game in general and people who are playing and the what's going on out there. And let's go with our favorite story of the year. Now, a story could be a player's performance. A story could be something that WizKids decided to do this year. It's whatever you want it to be. I mean, it could be who won Worlds, who won Rock Worlds, who won this, who won that. Something that happened over the course of the community. So I'm going to let Mike, what's your HeroClix story of the year, sir?
We got a rule book. We got a rule book. I can open the rule book and I can read the rules and I can point people towards the rules. And I may not know them all, and I'm faking it till I make it for a while. But the resources there. They're cleaning up the language. I just, in general, for me, there's no bigger story than finally getting on point with that. You know, we needed that. Like, what other game? What was 5 years? Ended up being 5 years that we went? 4? 5 years, some insanely ridiculous number. Like, what other game goes that long without an actual rule book? With the amount of erratas and changes and watch lists and yeah. So thank you for the rule book. Thank you.
All right, Jay.
That was pretty all-encompassing. I guess I will go off of that and say the team ability changes in general. They fixed a lot of ones that were terrible, like in Justice League, because wow, that actually needed to do something, and now it does something. I mentioned Underworld before. I think the Avengers, Justice League are a little bit of a more polarizing set of team abilities, but it's differently good. And just overall, clarifying a power cosmic and quick test and rule work now because there was a little bit of confusion there. And just in general, I like the fact that they actually sat down and committed to just looking at all these abilities again, which are pretty relevant, and trying to figure out, how we adapt them and make changes if we need to. Like, not being able to have one Mystic and have 20 wildguarding it is just so good.
Aw, but that got me through many years.
Oh, sorry, Spider-Man, but just no more of that nonsense.
You only mentioned Spider-Man because I did that to you so many times.
Oh my god,
it's okay.
All right, PJ, what's your story of the year?
My favorite story of the year is hands down Howard Brock winning Worlds twice, 2 Worlds events this year at Origins. I was lucky enough to lose to him in Team Worlds, and the thing that makes that my favorite story is, like, there's literally, in my opinion, never been a more deserving person to win a world championship. I mean, the guy's done more for the game than anybody else has. So to be there and to be able to experience him winning, even though it was against one of my teammates, and then against myself, just there was nothing more exciting. Just the general energy of the air, like, even the person who lost couldn't even be upset about it. It's just how it is, man.
Yeah. Heck, man of the year. He also took over The Rock.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, heck of a year for Mr. Howard Brock. My favorite story of the year is the little ginger man that we just hired here, Mr. PJ Bolin. What a great year you've had. I couldn't turn around and not see you winning an event, or just showing up in the top 8 of an event just because you decided to go. Your story here is you're getting up there to become the next Patrick Iboko or Easton Brock. You're a force to be reckoned with, sir. And I'm watching you. It's why I put you on the show, really, just keep my eye on you.
You're making me blush.
We're stealing.
I couldn't tell with the hair.
We got him just to steal all his good ideas. We're just gonna like, oh
man. Yeah. So you've had a heck of a year, PJ, and I want to congratulate you on that. You won U.S. Nationals. Can't forget that.
No, I lost.
Just a second. Oh, sorry, Dustin. I was tired that day too. Apparently, no, Dustin won, but you got second in that. Your name is in the top of the list, and just because you're not first doesn't mean you're not doing bad or not doing well. And this is what, 2 years? 2 years into the game, you are?
Yes.
I'm 15 years in the game, and I've just started getting my wins.
I just started playing right before Origins, the year before last.
Yeah. So. This kid out of nowhere, eh? All right. Now it's our personal growth moment. Your personal highlights of the year. Jay, what's your personal highlight of the year 2017?
I guess I'll say Vegas or Nevada States, technically, for multiple reasons. I did well the previous year there at the U.S. Cup, where I got 3rd, and I got 2nd this year. So actual improvement. One day I might win. Might, just maybe. The fact that I played the joke. No, that wasn't the first time, because our provincials was Quebec was first. I played that, then ours was the same day. So did not do as well as I would have liked to at Quebec. Although I was the only person to beat you that day, Jason, so that was something. But yeah, doing well at that same store and being in Nevada was good. Along with the fact that the top 8 end up being Jakeem and a Jakeem, and then losing to Tony Rodriguez, which was fine because he actually had a pretty cool team. Unfortunately, that was one of my 2 major losses to Al Jordan, which made me really start hating the figure because he seems to always knock me out of tops, whatever, like how he knocked me out of the Open at Michigan recently. But the thing I remember most about that particular match is the fact that basically they had whatever prizing there was supposed to be, and then there was also an extra bit of prizing of, what was it? I think a brick of What If, and then a grand prize pack from Civil War. And the winner got to choose, but we talked about it before the game, and we determined that we both wanted one thing specifically. So when we played the game, it was just to see who was the winner. There wasn't actually really any stakes there outside of the couple ROC points and the buy or whatever. But the fact that we got to have that game and not have it really matter who won or lost as much was good, and just doing well is good, especially when not the most played team. I don't really think I've seen it much outside of, I mean, there was that guy who won the ROC with the Joker, Share Joker recently, but entirely different team with like 20 Big Tonys, I think.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah. Getting to do well with Chair Joker is always nice, and that was the big, I guess, as close to a win as he's going to get. So that was overall the big highlight.
Cool. All right. PJ.
So my favorite highlight personally would probably be Origins this past year. The year before it was my first one, and I made top 8 at Nationals and lost to Scott Crampton. I had a great time. My goal was to come back this year and do better. I didn't win. I lost 1 game in Swiss at Nationals, and then I make it to the finals. I need a 5 to end it. I miss it. I'm like, well, that's how the dice goes. Then he Faust locks me and I lose. So I get second place. That's fine. Then in Team Worlds, we make it to the finals and play against Lucky Dice. And Howard got the Lucky Dice. And they ended up winning. We ended up losing 2-1. And my match was supposed to be the guaranteed win for us. Like, myself and Howard even told the person recording that they should probably not watch this game because it's going to be so one-sided. And then he steamrolled me because of dice. Like, he rolled an 11, and then I get to single die prob. I was like, reroll your 6, and he rolled a 5. And I'm just like, okay, so you hit my whole team with knockback from your Punisher. That's cool. And it was just a bad game for me dice wise. But all in all, the event, getting 2 second places, I can't complain about it, and that will lead into one of our other questions. So I'll stop there.
Okay, cool. All right, Mike.
Yeah, well, personal highlight for me, it ended up being kind of over the stretch of the year. Really, last year. In the past 2 years, I've been saying that I really wanted to put more effort into playing competitively and taking that level of the game seriously for myself. And at the start of the year, early part of the year, that is, I mean, it was really halfway through the year, the big screw up on my part of Canadian Nationals just really stuck with me. I didn't make the finals. I'd built an amazing sealed team and forgot I had theme probs like an idiot. And I make theme all the time for those who really know how I like to build. So that was a really hard beat. And I said I wasn't going to let it wear me down. I was just going to keep trying and putting my best foot forward. And I ended up having a great year. I won provincials here, Ontario provincials for ROC, which allowed me to go to the World Cup there for the first time. I've never gone. This was my first year. I got to go to Origins for my second time. Both events I had a fantastic time, especially at ROC World Cup because of the fact that it's such a great weekend of just hero clicks, and it was awesome. And I got to do some commentary with Jason, which was awesome. And then just recently winning WKO against an amazing competitor like Patricia Lamb. So for me, it was more like how the moments built up, that it felt like a tough beat at the start of the year. And then I had a really great run, a lot of fun. I was top 8 at pretty much every major local event that we had. So, if not top 4. And yeah, it was a really good year for me, and it felt great. And I love this game. So getting to really go and play at more of these events and meet a lot more of these people up front and making these friends has been great. Got us another shout out to my friends south of the border, as there's 2 major borders between us. Pedro, my brother. It was fantastic meeting you and Tiago at World Cup. So it's just been such a great year of HeroClix for me. So really the whole year.
They're from Brazil, so there's a lot of borders.
Yeah, like south.
A couple more souths, and
yeah, just keep going. Just keep going. It's beautiful and it's sunny and it's awesome there. They speak Portuguese. It's great.
Myself, it was finally pulling off a couple W's. And I've had a couple years of competitive play now, and a couple of those years not even close. Other years kind of on the borderline of kind of being on the consideration of a top 8 list. But this year I squeaked out the ROC State, or rather ROC Provincials at Quebec. And then I got a pair of WKO wins, both in sealed. And I mean, it feels really good to actually see all of this start to culminate into something, just to, be on that top spot. But at the same note, I have some things to work on as my ROC World Cup and my Worlds kind of. Well, I mean, Worlds I got top 32 this year, so I can't complain about that. I did fairly well in Worlds because last year I wasn't even in any kind of consideration of a cut, but then last year was a lot lower in the final day kind of thing. And then ROC Cup I didn't even make the 32, so it was an embarrassment to say the least for me, especially after some of the things I've been working on. But all of that said, I know I started to work on those things and it's starting to pay off. So here I am off of that and really feeling good. So yeah, my highlights were big this year, and it feels good, man. It feels real good. All right. Now, we're not going to be able to see you guys until well after the new year, and New Year's resolutions usually make them on New Year's. But here it is, last episode of the year. Let's talk about our Clixed year resolutions. And mine this year is to not embarrass myself on the world scene again. Because again, like I said, these kids' worlds, I made top 32, and that was the last you heard of me. Even in the team worlds, top 32, last you heard of me. I mean, and even those kind of felt squeaked in some cases. Not squeaked in for the team worlds. I think we went 3-1 in the Swiss, so I felt really good about team worlds. But singles, I need to get back on my game, and I might have to play the norm again, or I might just stay on the outside like I usually do, because whatever, I'm crazy like that. Never know with the Jason. So yeah, my goal is to place higher than I did in both worlds. More specifically, the WizKids worlds. The ROC worlds, I always end up focusing so much on the commentary that my performance there is what it is. And I mean, this year it's going to be different. It's going to be in Alabama. I don't know how it's going to affect as far as traveling is concerned. I think we might have to arrange to fly from Buffalo, boys, is what I was thinking. Like we all drive down to Buffalo and then we pick up a plane from there and go to Alabama, because then it will be one plane. I don't know. We'll see. Talk about it later. But anyway, yeah. So next year I'm going to improve my world's performance for sure. That's my goal, and go from there. Jay, your thoughts, sir?
I was considering saying getting.
EJ, your thoughts?
Oh,
it sounded similar. I thought you said J too. I was like, oh, okay.
Maybe my mic cut out on the P.
Maybe
might need a pop filter or something. I don't know.
So my resolution's pretty simple. I'm going to win a title this year. One of the worlds, nationals, team worlds, whatever. I'm going to win one of them, and I don't care which one. I would just take any of them. Ultimately, it's kind of like what you said, Jason, just outperforming your previous year. And since I took 2 second places, the only way to outperform is to win. So that's what I got to do. And that's what's going to happen. Watch for it.
Awesome. All right. Sorry, I'm dealing with adminning in the chat here. I apologize for that. It looks like there's a bot in there. I'm going to get rid of.
Kill the bot.
Well, I'm guessing going by the name "Sexy Girls for Dating," go to Sarah23.ml is a bot. Go ahead,
No
Mike.
way.
Oh no, it's Kita18.tk.
Well, pretty much I'm reiterating much of what you guys said, which is just taking my game again to the next level. I do want to go back a little more to my focus on trying to do the themed meta, because I do have a lot of fun in kind of dancing the beat of my own xylophone, as it were. But my real, I've actually set a really hard resolution for myself this year, and that's I have to make top 2 at Canadian Nationals. I had been in the top 8 at Canadian Nationals every year of Canadian Nationals until this past year when I brain farted and didn't even make finals. With the WKO win, I'm already into the final day.
Day 1, Mike.
That's right. So I'm already past that stupid stage, I hope. So it's really all about making a team and practicing that team and practicing that team and practicing that team. It's tough when you talk about your competitive aspirations and what you think you sort of should get, because it sometimes comes across as arrogant, and this isn't meant to be. But I think I've played long enough and showed up enough potential that I'm deserving of a top 2, if not a national title. There's plenty of other people here and on this show who are also just as deserving of that. So I'm not saying that there's any more or less than anybody else, but I do think that I could easily do it. And I think we need a Canadian to win our own national tournament. So really, that's the most important thing to me. So if I make it in the top 2 and the other person's Canadian, then I'm happy. I'd throw it to them just to make sure that a Canadian actually wins our title. So that's my really hardcore resolution. I've got to make that final table, and I'm already planning. I'm already planning, man. So that's it.
It's funny that PJ also mentioned getting 2 second places, because I also got 2 second places, although on a much smaller scale. I had the sealed one in Michigan. It really annoyed me though, because I played the Iron Man, and this is Avengers Defenders. I played the Iron Man, and then they errated him literally the following week, and that could have actually changed the whole thing. But that's sealed anyway. That doesn't count as much. But I would like to say that I'd like to get a win, but I've been judging, so that basically precludes any Canadian tournaments. So that just decreases the odds of that. So I'm just going to say practice, because practice is sometimes good. I think there should be a YouTube channel where they specifically say that, because it needs to be encouraged. People should practice, because practice will make you better at playing HeroClix or something. I don't know. I have to workshop it.
Yeah, I'll figure something out towards the end of the episode. All right. Before we head into the questions, guys, is there anything else you want to add as we wrap up this year in HeroClix? Anything you want to kind of drop or anything like that, PJ?
I have a small one. Everybody that is watching, listening, live, archived, whatever, should get out and play more. Not just for practice, but you'll learn quickly that this community is excellent, and everybody that you meet is going to be great. In all the time I've been playing, I've never been around a better community than this. So I know we say it all the time, but it's absolutely true. So come out next year, play in the new ROC style events, play in the WizKids events. There's plenty of events all around now, so I want to see your faces.
All right. Mike?
I'm here, but it looks like I'm frozen again. But you can hear me, right? You can all hear me? All right. I'm moving. I'm actually moving. Yeah, I really want to reiterate what PJ said. I got to go to a lot more events this year and meet a lot more of the people. I do want to apologize that I'm actually really bad with names. I have a thing, as it's a hereditary thing where I struggle with names. But I remember all of you. I remember your faces. I remember our conversation. I remember our games. I'm always re-asking your name because I want to remember it. But so many great people. Thank you for welcoming me into your competitive community. I've had so much fun, great conversations about Clixed, learning so many new things. Even in some of like the really beating type losses at the World Cup there in Atlanta, I was still having a great time. So thank you, HeroClix, and thank you, HeroClix community, for making this awesome game and for letting me be a part of it.
All right, Jay?
I would like to mention just a general commendation of WizKids in general, like trying to put together tops of all the figures of the year was just incredibly hard, as was deciding what set to say was the worst. Regardless of execution, just having made the Elseworlds and What If set are really good, and just even the worst criticism you can give to WizKids, or one of the more common ones of resculpting, it's a cost saving thing, and if it wasn't a thing, then this game would be so much more expensive. So I just feel like they just haven't really made any bad decisions. I mean, they put Unimind on the watch list just so fast, just so ridiculously fast. It really feels like I don't even want to say trying. They're just doing. I guess I would say.
Whoa. Mostly getting whiplash from the pushback on some of my opinions on the watch list, but that's neither here nor there. That's to be expected when you have an opinion, right? All right. So, yeah, again, guys, it's been a great year hanging out with all the people we've had a chance to meet in the community. It's been a great year just in general playing HeroClix. The new rules kind of went over very well. And, you know, I want to commend WizKids on the work they've been doing. I want to commend the players and on the facing up to the challenge, and I want to eventually commend the rules team if they can start answering some questions again. Sorry, I had to throw a little underhanded thing there. I'm pretty sure somebody on the team was now looking. Oh, Jason, you have a question? That's too bad. Read the card. Awkward. No, but they work hard, and I'm sure they don't want to be bothered with their easy stuff. So, get from there. I got a stamp. You know what that means, guys? Our first question: the man himself, Mr. Chris Stockhouse, put a stamp on it. It's an official episode. Great way to end the year. All right. So he leads in. Happy holidays to the Meta Lab. Hopefully everyone enjoys some extra time with their families these next couple weeks. I'm happy to spend my Monday or Tuesday, depending when I watch, with part of my HeroClix family. You guys are the best, and I can't wait until I get to sling some dice with you all again soon. Since you guys are doing your year in review, I'll help with the reminiscing. Kenny's Mistress Death Army team has to win an award for most surprising competitive team, right? Yes. The why didn't I think of it award. If you can't remember something that was more surprising and did well, I would love to hear it. I remember the surprise on my face when I saw the number of 4 Colossals Mr. PJ had acquired. That's for sure. What was a team that comboed the best for you this year? Was there a piece you wish you hadn't put on a competitive team this year? And was there a piece you regret not building with competitively? So for me, I've been riding the Devil Dinosaur like Moon Boy for a long time now. And I don't know. I think I should just paint a saddle on him how much I've been riding him. So I don't see myself leaving him behind anytime soon. There are moments I wish I'd maybe reconsidered Al Jordan because he was a liability in one of my losses at a provincials. At Canada Cup, ROC Canada Cup. But then that was my own stupidity, so I can't really fault him for that. I kind of want to just say my entire Canadian nationals team I regret because I didn't realize my company was a little bit more lenient on the time off than I was initially anticipating. So that Cable Deadpool dupe combo can go burn in a fiery pit. Was there a piece you regret not building with competitively? Gertrude Old York. Or Gertrude Old Lace, sorry. I keep doing that. I'm the worst. Basically the Raptor. I regret not using that damn Raptor. And boy, am I going to fix that this coming year, hopefully. So yeah, that's my call on those three. So PJ. You're
muted.
Cody's doing it on purpose.
We all got to do it today, right? Try this again. No. Obviously, the most surprising is Kenny's Mister's Death team. It's the most off-kilter team to perform well. Not only did he top with it at the Cup, but I won a WKO with almost the exact same build. So yeah, that definitely takes that, in my opinion. The team that comboed the best for me this year would probably be the team I just played at this past event 2 weeks ago with 3 Green Lanterns, Alzordan, and Elijah Snow, all on the dungeon map. So I would say that just the interactions, the way the team worked together, it was just so difficult for my opponents to attack. It definitely was the best combo, I would say, was Elijah Snow and the dungeon map. The rest of the pieces don't matter. So a piece I wish I hadn't put on a competitive team this year. I wish I would have played less Jakeem. I just recently, I've halfway completed with my shelving units, displaying teams that I've won with, and realizing I have to buy 4 Jakeems is not pleasant. So I absolutely regret playing too much Jakeem this year. And the piece I regret not building with would be Peace Machine. I think he's phenomenal, and I always look at building with him, and then I settle on something else. And this year I will definitely be playing Peace Machine.
All right, awesome. Mike.
I got to look at the question again. Remember the order of things. Oh yeah, the surprising one. Well, obviously Kenny's team, but I'm also going to give a shout out, and I apologize because I can't remember his name. Dude at Canadian Provincials with the Rat King team.
Matt.
Is it Matt?
Or was it James?
See,
James McMaster. James McMaster.
So it was a crazy team too. It was like Hell Cow, Rat King, one of the Shredders. Like, it was a weird team, and dude played awesome. He played it awesome. People were surprised by it. He was my final top 2 opponent there at Provincials. So big shout out to him, because his team was full of stuff that nobody was really prepared for. He played it great, and so yeah. Figure that I wish I hadn't used competitively. Was that the next one in there?
Team that comboed the best for you.
Team that comboed the best? My provincial winning team. Fully loaded Yakeem with Al Jordan and Brainiac, and I had the Invisible Jet. Every time I played that team, it did everything I wanted it to do. I had so many powers to choose from, so many ways to handle opponents. It was probably the best anything's comboed for me after Element Man and Trinity War Batman. Of course, it's the Pick a Power-a-thon, and it's Swiss Army Knife team. So I love playing it because I can always come up with a strategy to sort of get myself out of trouble. Figure I wish I had played in competitive, I'll say, was Nighthawk Prime. I finally got myself one, and I've never played him on a competitive team. And when we were building in Atlanta, I thought about putting him on that team with Unimind, and didn't. And of course, we saw what happened with all the Nighthawk Prime Uniminds at World Cup. So definitely, I regret not having made that choice at that time, and maybe having done better than, I think I was like 50th or something at the end of all of that. Made the finals, but yeah. And sorry, what was the other?
If you hadn't put on a competitive team this year,
I guess I'm actually going to say Yakeem, but for a bit of a different reason. When I did it and I made that team and then I won, I guess in a way it felt even worse, like I'd given in, because I know, I'd kept making these these thematic, and it was a mystical theme team, and it was almost universe pure. It was all DC elements except for one thing, Supreme Intelligence. So I tried, but the fact that I didn't do named theme, and then of course that's what won for me, will always make that victory a little bit tainted in a way. It's tough when you have to sort of give in a bit to something when you want to sort of win your own way. You know what I mean? So those are my answers.
All right. That's how I would have felt if I would have done better in World. So it's a little bittersweet that I didn't do well because my team was Goblin King and Jakeem.
Yeah.
And a tank, but everybody had a tank that day, so that doesn't count.
Yeah. I had a Unimind, and I sucked too, so I was even more of a whore than you are. And I did worse.
All right. Jay.
What's the order? I don't think you can possibly agree with the statement that Mr. Death was the most unique, surprising team. The double jokers, because what better to mastermind into than something that costs 1 point per click?
1.67 points per click.
Still,
and that's rounded from the continuous sixes.
Still, point for point, one of the most crazy broken figures you've ever gotten in the game. What else? I wish I had not played this former piece, if Jason remembers.
Does it blend?
It wasn't.
That was the most epic use of a blender ever, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that Faust didn't do anything for me, unfortunately, because he's kind of luck-based, and if I would have just done something else instead, especially because when I played him at Worlds, it was the obvious play, so if I would have done something different, who knows? And that does tie in to my piece that I wish I had played with competitively, which is Howard the Duck, because of how well he would have comboed with Jakeem in this particular Worlds, where he would shut off whatever standard power I felt like. And then I would have had 30 more points to play around with, and who knows what that would have been if I would have done better, because I don't remember Faust really doing much for me, unfortunately. And that could have also led to me getting a better map roll bonus, which could have been good against opposing tanks, because there were some good maps for not getting Faust tanked, and if I would have had map roll and thought about that more, I could have maybe done better, because if I recall correctly, in the top 4 at Worlds for me, I got Faust tanked twice out of my 4 games that I played, out of the 5 that I could have theoretically played. So, yeah, no Faust. Throw on Howard instead. I still remember watching the unboxing and seeing you pull him. That was so good to finally see. Because I'm pretty sure you were the first one to open him.
Howard's like, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that unboxing. We do not talk about that. That was very bad on me. Very bad. And I think we lost your mic there, Jay. All right. Next up from Christopher Smotherman. Been a while since we heard from you, Chris. Good to hear from you again. A couple simple questions for today. What figure did you use most often this year, main force only? And who would you say was your MVP this year as far as main force figures go, not counting Colossals? It's a double whammy on the Devil Dinosaur for me. He's been pulling his weight for a while now for me. And I mean, I know I'm boring. Jason keeps using Devil Dinosaur, but I love him. So plus I have all the tokens for him. I love doing that, and I love putting the bystanders. I love having a lot of things because my gosh, I think I have ADHD. I need a lot of figures on the board. It's pretty insane. PJ.
So piece that I've tabled the most is probably Overdrive through all of this year. I mean, he didn't come out this year, but I definitely put him on the table the most this year. And then MVP, it has to be Jakeem. I played him almost as many times as I played Overdrive. So it's pretty clear front runner that he was the star of my year.
Okay. Mike?
Can you guess? Can you guess what I'm going to say?
Algerdan?
Algerdan. Because I'm Canadian. No, I fielded him on a lot of teams. He played really well for me. Again, he won provincials for me. He really did. Hey, Amber. He won provincials for me, hands down. Like that dude, he saved my bacon in that game, and he played very effective for me. I want to say he's also my MVP, filling both slots, but I have to also share that with Nightshade. Because pulling her at the WKO is the reason I won that WKO. Nothing else on my team had more of an effect on my ability to maneuver around that map and get into position with either a charger or sidestep attack with the Kirk DePaul Prime or a running shot. Whatever the case may be, that Nightshade, look out for her. She is a fantastic 50-point piece. She is meta. You're going to see her, and she hands down won that game for me. So those are my answers.
Jay,
is my mic working?
Can you hear me now?
Okay. I think probably my most tabled was this little gentleman. Because the utility he brought. I mean, how many times did you play more than 3 of them this year, PJ? Like 20? There's all of the games, all the shots, all the time.
3 times. A bunch of them. Three different events. I fielded multiples.
One of which was
6.
I guess MVP. I guess Joker, because between Mastermind Fodder and being able to attack with Proteus, as well as the Swordsman inspiration, was just crazy good.
All right, cool, awesome. All right, so next we move into a question we got from our patrons over on Discord. If you're interested in joining us on patreon.com/PrayWithClicks. Any valuation gets you access to the Discord and our monthly Google Hangout with our patrons, which coming in January is looking like the 5th of January. It'll be Friday, January 5th for our patrons. So check that out. And guys, what you pledge is what you pay. That's the good news. Patreon has changed their mind and has lost the crazy that they had. And this comes from Tiger Alchemist, who wants to know what figures/ID cards are you hoping to see in the upcoming year? And without a shadow of a doubt, ID cards better be Forge, because I won that guy. Sorry, Forge and Shadowcat. I kind of tied up there because I have them now. Wouldn't mind being able to use them. And then as far as a figure is concerned, I mean, we know we have X-Men. You know what? I make the joke. Feed me the joke. Oh, no, we already know Spider Buggy's coming. Never mind. I want to see Eternity. I want to see what they do with that, because I think that would be cool as a colossal, a 2x2 Eternity painted in space on the cape and everything like that. I think that would look neat, but I'm probably hoping for too much on that. PJ.
ID card, I think I'd like to see, and I'm sure we're going to get it, would be a Nightcrawler ID.
With 25 X-Men, I think you can see an Nightcrawler.
If you can find 25 more relevant X-Men than Nightcrawler, I give you my I just couldn't understand it. Can't wrap my head around that. So I want to see a Nightcrawler ID. And then there's so many pieces I want to see. I always want to see a new Iceman, because we're getting ready to lose the one that we have, and he's my favorite X-Men character. So I'm really, really looking forward to a new Iceman who hopefully doesn't suck, because we're going for one that's pretty good. So we want to find one that doesn't suck now. I'll settle with mediocre.
All right, Mike.
I love Iceman too, by the way, PJ. He is totally my favorite X-Men, totally underrated character, alpha level mutant. Like, come on. Dude is awesome. I'm going to say just long shot, actually, for both of those. I kind of said it in the Discord, and I still feel that way. I want to see a long shot ID card. I want to see a long shot character. I want to see him come out and be useful and interesting. But I will also throw in there that I'm always happy when Jamie Madrox comes back around as well. love the multiple man. I have so much fun with that. And come on, we got tribbles, so let's get some multiple men back again. I think that would be great. So that's what I'm hoping for. And there is actually one other figure that I'm hoping for that will remain a mystery, because it's still that figure that you and I talked about as what we would build if we ever won the right to build a figure.
Was that our team one?
I think so. Well, there was the DC one we talked about this year, but there was the original one.
Wait, the one we talked about with George. Okay, yeah. So the one we talked about with George. Yes.
So one day I want to reveal this character that we speak of, but that's still a dream in my heart that will happen somewhere. Either redesign it or.
I don't remember now.
Sorry.
I wonder if I spilled the beans on that on the show.
No, we I don't think you did. I hope you didn't.
I have to go back in time and check now.
Yeah, you check that out. If you did, I hate you, because it's a dream of mine. So anyway.
All right, Jay.
It's a good thing you said long shot, Mike, because I can already confirm that we are getting one. So, I mean, who knows if it'll be good? But
so you're saying it's not a long shot? That is a successful pun when you've managed to create dead air on your live show.
I'm gonna say, because X-Men is like basically the only set that really interests me so far, so I'll say ID card wise. I mean, I know we're gonna get a Magneto one for sure. I guess for the character, I'll say we haven't gotten her ever. I'll say the Exile Sunfire, Mariko, because we've not gotten her yet, and she's one of the main exiles that we're missing. As far as ID cards go, there's so many X-Men, it's like, who knows what we are and are not going to get. But actually, yeah, Longshot could be pretty cool. That could be a ridiculously good inspiration. Who knows what they would do with it. But that'd be pretty cool to see. Be able to play that on every team. Call him in for that one. Actually, now that I think about it,
he'd give crit hits.
But he'd be too good.
That'd be gross.
He'd be like Green Arrow, because he'd be like the call-in that just is the game changer, just for what he can do. I actually don't want a long shot ID. Never mind.
Stop it. Stop it. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
All right. So moving to the chat, if you guys are in the live chat, put in capital letters question next to your question so we can catch it in the chat. It's been very, very talkative today. William Dickey asks, how do you defend your retaliators? They always get nuked for me. Always give them a meteor target, because generally that meteor target is something that you don't expect to die in a single shot, and that's what makes the Colossal Retaliator really stand out. I always just kind of put myself in their face and force them to attack something else before they go straight for my Retaliator. Keep them back, because the Retaliator will be where it needs to be when it needs to be there, and have multiples.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you've got a low enough Retaliator, have two and make them both the person that you want to go for. You're like, you know, two Ameridroids, man. There's enough room for them.
Yeah, that was one of the things that was going really well for me at ROC World Cup in a lot of cases. I'd always get retaliations off. It's just a matter of which one am I going to get off. I always tried to present a Carnage as an option, because an Ameridroid retaliation, even though it's not going to do as much damage, will lead to significantly more damage in the long run, and that's why I kind of always put my Ameridroid or my Carnages out a little bit more. So it's always present the target that you don't care about as much, or you don't mind taking a little bit of a hit, then then you gain your retaliation as a result of that. I don't know, PJ, do you have any other thoughts for William?
Yeah, what you said is absolutely right. If you force them, if you force their hand, like where if they go for your retaliators, they have to deal with your team. It makes them they have two options. One of them is clearly right, but the other one is clearly wrong. Like if they go for your retaliators when they're extended, then you should be able to punish them. So make sure you're playing something that can punish. Alternatively, if you're playing something slower, look at indoor maps and then park them behind walls. So you can kind of protect them a little that way. or do my favorite thing and just play Flora Colossus because it has a stop click. So
once you pull one of those 5 and 6s, you're fine.
Yeah. But ultimately, it's just positioning. Make it to where if they're going to kill it, they get punished for it, or just make it to where they can't kill it. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Cool. All right, Mike, was there anything you wanted to you're drinking. Jay, you got anything you want to add to that?
Nope.
All right, Mike, anything you want to add on?
No, I had already.
Okay, I know you chimed in. I just wanted to make sure that you didn't have anything else. So hopefully that helps you out there, William. It is one of those things when it comes to strategy games. Sometimes the strategy doesn't come just by putting the figure on the board. Sometimes some of the work and some sacrifice might have to occur. Just remember, and this is, I think, can affect some people in the headspace in some cases. Just because you spent $80 on the Carnage doesn't mean he's not there to die. You know what I mean? So if that helps at all in any way, shape, or form, because sometimes I've seen that where, I've seen a guy spend a lot of money on a character. It's like it's 10 points on the board in this case of the Carnage. It's like, well, he's gonna die. It's like, so he's 10 points. So I spent a fair bit of money on my 2 Carnages, so I understand the pain, but I also understand sacrifices have to be made. All right. He also has another question here. What are you looking forward to most next year? I'm looking forward to trying to get into competitive events. Looking forward to next year. I'm looking forward to seeing what this Avengers Infinity set looks like, because it seems like a neat experiment in putting a 2x2 in every single pack. It's a lot of plastic, so we'd have to pay for it, but I want to see what the sealed looks like in that. Like, I think the sealed's going to look cool. I just hope it plays well, and I hope it isn't like completely busted and obnoxious, because WizKids is on a streak with the sealed right now. The last couple sets have been really good. Star Trek is a bit of an anomaly because that sealed is just a hot mess. But for the most part, they've been doing really good with the sealed. So I don't know. PJ, what are your thoughts?
I am looking mostly forward to all the changes with the ROC. I've been an avid ROC supporter from the get-go, and even more so now. Not only for like the administration changes, but also I'm just hoping that it brings more people out, because community first.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Mike.
I'm looking forward to making it out to events, the big events again. I'm looking forward to seeing all the fellow HeroClix players, the people who love this game, and talking about new sets and talking about new teams and new combos, and that there's something great about this game, that it's always evolving. I mean, it's not just about rules changes, it's new figures and new ways of combining people, and stuff gets retired and other stuff comes in. There's something great about that. So I'm just excited for the regular old every year of new Clix and experiences with my Clix brothers.
Cool.
And sisters.
Yeah, there's a few of those now.
I ain't never forgetting about you ladies, man.
Jay?
I'm going to be very interested to see what con stuff looks like, given that we've had this past year having 2 huge expensive purchasables get on the watch list. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pay attention and try and hopefully balance stuff better. As well as I'm looking forward to the fact to be disappointed with no new Exiles in the X-Men set, because that's what we got last time. So I am preemptively disappointed, and I am not at all being optimistic. But if I do get at least one, that'd be pretty cool.
Fair enough. All right. With that, we're going to call it a night, call it a show. And we're going to call it a show for the year 2017. I want to thank everybody who spent the time to watch us this year. I want to thank the newest members of our team, PJ and Mike, for joining us. PJ, thank you very much. Mike, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Been a pleasure.
Tom, Mike, we miss you. Hope we can see you guys in the game again soon. Sooner rather than later, please. Thanks to all the fans, all the work, the hard work over at WizKids. Thanks to the guys over at the ROC. They ran one heck of a ROC World Cup this year. I look forward to seeing what Howard has to do for the event in general. We want to wish everybody happy holidays, however it is that you bring in these holidays in this new year. And, just in general, spend this time off, guys. Play some Clixed with some friends. Play for fun. Play for competitive practice, whatever. Just make sure you make it fun. Throw in some eggnog. Throw some stuff in the eggnog, if you catch my meaning. Grab a couple beers. Play some games with some friendly people. It's the time of year to do that. You got a little bit of time to yourself when you're not spending time with your families. It's all building up to getting out to those competitive games. We want to see you guys out there playing some more HeroClix and just enjoying yourselves in general, as we like to do. We want to thank our sponsors over at hcrealms.com. HC Realms is where we talk about the game. It's where we get all of our stuff from the game. It's where we track our teams, build our teams, etc., etc. While you're there, go into the shop, put in the coupon code MARRIED for 10% off your purchase. Special thanks to MajesticCCG.com and all their support and love with the Apex Insiders site. Apex-Insiders is in the link below. $3 a month gets you some of the brain dumps from some of the greats, including this ginger brain over here, Mr. PJ, and Jay, and occasionally myself. I swear I'll get some stuff. That said, I can't say anything more, guys. I love this game. I'm looking forward to 2018 and just playing a little bit of Clixed on my holiday break. And guys, all that Clixed, be it fun, be it game, be it whatever it is, get some practice, because practice will make your teams better. Have a happy holidays.